Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us. Welcome to the Necromancer live show. This stream will begin in time. Thank you for your patience. Grab a drink, sit back, and explore the paranormal with us.
As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. I invite you to follow me into the unknown. Welcome to the Necromancer live show.
Hello, and welcome to the Necromancer live show. I'm your host, Justin Brown, and thank you, and welcome in. What's up, everybody? Got Derek Schreiner in the house. We're ready to talk about the paranormal. I think you guys know the drill. Topic for tonight is going to be more parapsychology. I'm going to try to talk about this stuff, why it's fresh in my mind, and why it's basically where my head's at. We're going, and then I was talking to my wife during lunch at work today about potential show topic ideas, and she thought that I should go into this category of poltergeist, which involves physical manifestations that are caused by living agents, and I think it's going to be an interesting talk. We got Derek Schreiner on here. He has had his own experiences with this subject matter, and I think that here I probably should click on him and get him on there. There, he looks better there. I forgot to do that. I had him on fucking 15 minutes early, and I failed to do that. Click the mouse button. But I see everybody coming in. What's up, Matt? Joseph Moore. We got Missy in the chat, Christy Brown, Heath, Darren. What's up, guys? So, let everybody know how we've been doing. I know you guys know I've been working. Derek has been on long or short-term disability. He's healing up. He should be returning pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, I'll go back Monday.
Monday? How soon is that?
I know.
Are you
coming
ready?
Up way too fast? I guess. I mean, I was talking to Missy the other day, and we were talking about it. And I told her, I said, it's nice because I've been off for 8 weeks, but for 6 of the 8 weeks, I wasn't able to do anything. So
I know
you're only really off like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks.
So you've been pretty able-bodied with your arm.
Oh yeah. I spent let's see, 4 hours, maybe 5 hours today, trying to wire up the hot tub so that I had a plug close to the hot tub so I can plug it in better. And when I took the electrical outlet off of the base where the back porch light is, that was a freaking nightmare. It took me 4 hours to rewire just that outlet and to run a wire out of it.
4 hours?
Yes, it was a disaster. Instead of taking and putting a junction box from the wiring coming out of the house and then wiring everything out of a junction box, they stuck the wire through the house, from the house, put it in that little box, and then tied in wires from the light and the light switch to that, and then wire nutted a bunch of them together and then plugged them into the plug-in. So there were 3 different things wired in to one compact area instead of putting a junction box there like a bunch of retards.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So it sucked.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear about that, but we welcome to your 2-hour distraction from reality.
Exactly.
Justin, guess what? I don't know. Based on your social media, I know that Helena, you and Helena were together. I don't know what's happening. You let me know, man. I have no idea what's going on, dude. I'm oblivious right now. Last week, I was so tired, and I just had no idea what to talk about. Oh, he got a new tattoo.
Ah.
Nice.
Hell
Congratulations. Yeah. The topic of the show is important because based on my beliefs that stem from my experience in the research and field investigative work I've done with Derek and the team and dealing with a haunting from the, that some certain family members are going through for a long time. It seems like certain types of hauntings can be caused by living agents through psychokinesis. In parapsychology, they call it spontaneous recurrent, or is it recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis? RSPK. Okay. I'm all new to this, adding the extra letters to the acronym. But basically what it states is not only can things go bump in the night, not only can things move around, it seems like with certain individuals, this phenomena can get aggressive. People can get scratched, hit, pushed, have nightmares, have hallucination-like things occur visually to them that only they can see. And the paranormal is so strange that knowing what's possible with this type of phenomena may be something that we will never fully understand, because it's constantly morphing and constantly finding ways to manifest in new ways. I feel like it might be endless. The possibilities may be endless with this. And the reason why we want to talk about these things is when we're trying to investigate and figure out and research these things, we need to know what is spiritual and what is not spiritual. Why, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Because if you want to help someone or help yourself or help a situation, you need to know what's causing it. And the only way to know what's causing it is proper investigation and experience, and having discussions or engaging in discussions about these topics. So, as we talk about the subject, I encourage you all in chat to give your thoughts on the subject matter, ask questions. Derek, I'm going to be asking questions to you throughout the show. Hopefully you ask me questions. I want to get into this because I feel like more times than not, our own minds are creating fascinating things that not only are appearing like we're haunted by something, maybe even something aggressive, the physicality of it is very, very strange and interesting. But it can be frightening and disturbing. And if you guys in the chat have felt like you've been dealing with something like this, let me know. And I kind of want to walk through it to see if it's possible that it could be RSPK. So Derek, the first thing I'm going to talk to you is, as we've gone through our research and investigation, was there a time you felt like you started scratching your head and squinting real hard at things and saying, this may not be ghost. This may be coming from people that are alive?
Not really, I guess not really that drastic to where I looked at it from that point of view. But there have been quite a few times that as we've investigated, and as I've opened up a little bit with abilities, and especially when I ruptured my bicep, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff that I kind of was able to focus more on what was happening at a location, what we were doing at the location, connecting with the location and stuff like that. And, I really started to feel different things, see a lot of different things. You know, it's been eye opening, but I haven't. I guess I've kind of thought about it and had a little bit of, you know, put two and two together, because there's stuff that I know that I have done in the past that has ultimately resulted in something happening. Especially, you know, Indiana State Sanatorium was a good incident of that we figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the beer can here at the house was a good, really good incident of that. Twice at work, had stuff happen, and that all kind of started at Madison Seminary after doing some energy work, and you know, before going there, and it was a whole different ball game after that. But you know, it's kind of weird because I even after the last time we discussed this topic, you know, I looked at Missy and we were downstairs watching TV, and I was like, you know, if a person that has really, really good abilities that can do pretty much, you know, a gamut of things, if they can shut down an entire area of any type of energy activity, whether it's paranormal or not paranormal, if they can pretty much wipe the slate clean for a certain amount of time, then yeah, there's a really good possibility that if somebody is in the vicinity that has a high energy and really knows what they're doing with, you know, all the different tricks of the trade per se, and their witchiness, they can make things happen. Just because we want stuff to happen. Every time we go somewhere, we want stuff to happen so bad. So therefore, you know, our minds are putting that energy off and we're trying to focus so much on something happening that if you've got the right energy for the situation, it could easily go out and make stuff happen.
Right. When we had Lloyd Auerbach on, we definitely talked about this, and it was definitely something that we felt like it was very possible. We all agreed and subscribed to the idea. We'll get to the comments here in a second, Missy. I have been reading them. We're going to talk about the energy that you're talking about, and we're going to talk about some recipes for these things happening. It's not just one mechanic. And I want to get into the nuts and bolts of what I think about this. Christy comments, I seriously think it can come from people that are alive. The interactions, the way people are talking takes effect on others in the same house. If someone is constantly negative, creating negative thoughts and emotions can result in manifesting something to the point of physical harm. And I agree with that, and I feel like there is a what's the word? When things are bad and when things are what Chrissy describes as negative, it seems like it evokes and creates more activity than when it would if it was positive. I feel like positive vibes and energy do more healing and do more good, and it's not as noticeable. We do notice it, but we don't notice it as like a paranormal haunting, because haunting kind of implicates or implies a disturbance, a negative disturbance. Generally, it doesn't always mean that, but when you have these, you know, things, these strange happenings, it always seems to, the needle points to the negative. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What's up, C? There's Arena. Nice to see you there. Hi, Volkfire. I see you. I meant to shout you out. Let's quickly talk about the mechanics real quick. I want to get it out of the way because I feel like where you're at is important. I feel like when you're at that place is important, and why you're at that place is important, and who is at that place is important with certain people, and what's going on with those people is important. And the place is not like a static place. Like if you go to a notoriously haunted location that's known to be a hot spot, it's not going to be crazy active every day. Things change. Things constantly, sway in and out of, being dormant or being highly active. And why? Okay, you have to ask yourself why. Well, we don't know for sure, but we know that energy doesn't stay constant. In a vacuum, quantum energy goes, it appears, it disappears, it appears, it disappears. So it's in a constant state of flux, and there's a lot of things that are constantly fluctuating. But there are things that we can control, and there are things that we direct, like our behavior and our feelings and our attitudes. Okay, and it goes back to what Christy was saying. If we're saturating an environment with a lot of anger, with a lot of emotion that would disturb you, and if you're in a location that has a lot of energy dealing with the spiritual or dealing with psychic phenomena, we all know there's places that psychic phenomena is higher when it comes to manifesting things. So it's almost like the stars align at points to where it spikes so much, it's like, whoa, what's going on? All of a sudden you're getting scratches, all of a sudden you're getting pushed down the stairs, all of a sudden you're seeing crazy amounts of shadow figures, your nightmares are crazy, things are weird. Things can get bad. And we have to step back and look, okay, because most of the time these people reporting this, they're like, oh my God, Justin, come down here, help me. And I will tell them, I'm like, look, it's hard to say these certain people in your house are causing this. It's not an external. There are external properties, but they're being perturbed and initiated by the living people. So if you can't change or, alter what you're doing in your home, it's going to continue. It's not going to stop. So let's see here. Volkfire. I believe people that suffer from some mental illness invited as well out of their control. That is a whole nother show topic. And Derek, what do you think about? Do you think we should talk about mental illness and the paranormal? I know we've touched on it before several times, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, especially in this in this day and age of society, talking about mental illness struggles, emotional struggles, family struggles, any type of struggles that people are going to, especially people that are investigating the paranormal, anything that they're dealing with that is affecting their mental psyche is really good to talk about, because it's a big topic of discussion across the board. And it's kind of twofold, because like Zarina put on there that strong emotions can create, I don't know what word that is, egregores.
Egregores, I think.
Yeah. And and people with mental illness and fight it, doing it out of their control. A lot of times I think people with mental illness, especially the people that don't know that they have some sort of legit mental illness going on, or they ignore it because, oh, that's not me. They bring their own crap with them, and they imprint it, like we said before, they imprint it on a location. But they can also throw it out there, and it doesn't imprint on the location. It just manifests into whatever that it can be at the time, depending on where you're at. And we go to places, and all these places have seen TV shows, and the big thing that everybody is against is provoking. Well, don't be in there provoking. Don't be going in there and doing stuff to provoke the entities. But in a way, if you think about it, if somebody's in there, nothing's happening all night long. And in the last 10 minutes, they start screaming and yelling at it and trying to, well, I'm going to see what I can do to rile it up, and starts getting angry and aggressive with the energy in the building. And then a bunch of stuff starts happening. Why is that? Is it because the energy in the building reacts more to anger and agitation than it does somebody sitting there kind of smoothing it out, like you said? Somebody that comes in that's, calm, cool, collected, good-hearted, good-natured, and kind of is trying to heal the place, versus somebody that's, spitting in a bunch of anger and aggression and gets things going. It'd be hard to test, because a lot of places don't want you to go in there and, as they call it, provoke spirits.
Well, I just want to reply pretty quickly to that. You don't need to test it. You just, there's already analogs in place that you can draw parallels to. It's like, everybody that lives in a home with, their significant other and children, or maybe roommates, if one of those people get in an argument, or one of them's behaving in a negative way, it's going to affect those other people. Sometimes those other people will act out because of that. And that's what you're talking about. These spirits, or these entities, whether they're, disembodied incarnate beings, or they're, what Zarina said, or tulpas, which, we'll get to that here in a second. They're entities regardless, and they're intelligent, interactive psyches regardless. So whether they have bodies or not, it's, like what you're saying, it's going to affect whoever can hear it and has to deal with it. And I feel like it's the same throughout the board. What's weird is the things that are, moving things and being seen, that's what they're calling weird. I'm like, why is everything going weird? And it's like, well, the same reason why your kid is acting up, or, your wife is tired of you, acting this or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Cause with us dealing with that exact same stuff for quite a long time here, which, it took a while to get it calmed down, figure it out, kind of get it to where we weren't really disturbed by it on a constant basis. It just, you experience it, you see it, and you're like, oh wow, that really does, that kind of stuff happens, and the reasoning behind it really makes sense when you kind of cut the reasoning out by not doing what you're doing to get it going. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So,
there's a lot.
Darren said, I had noticed watching certain investigations and teams that do private homes that the homeowner claims that there are dark or malevolent seem to have very drama-filling lifestyles. Some seem to have domestic situations in the home, so the negative emotions in the home are constant. So all this makes sense that these type of living conditions could cause what they consider paranormal activity. Right. I had a 2-month ordeal being directly affected by a nasty entity till I moved away from the area to break the cord. Staying there, the person kept bringing it back due to her mental schizophrenia. That sounds like a rough situation. I'm glad you're out of that. Christy says all that negativity leaches into others, being physically harmed, creating manifestations. That's what our theory is. Mm-hmm. And everybody seems like they're agreeing. Wolfire, like it might be you suffering an illness, but someone and it affects you as well. Yeah, like an empathic reaction, right, is what Wolfire is saying. But how can you make the person who is causing this to stop, specifically if they don't believe it? That's where an effective communicator, a tactful communicator, is helpful. It depends on the person and how well they're able to receive the information. Sometimes you have to camouflage the information. Yep. Sometimes it takes tact to relay the information to where it's not so like pointy fingery at the person, mm-hmm, or making it seem like it's their fault. Right. A lot of times people who have investigated residentials or have dealt with this thing, it's more like counseling than it is ghost hunting.
Yes. Big time.
So that's how you're going to have to do it, Christy. I see you're at home.
You got to sugarcoat almost everything, and kind of
Yeah.
You can't just put it, lay it out on a platter and be like, bam, there you go. This is your problem, and it's mostly you, because they're going to be like, what? It's almost like you have to treat people like they're toddlers, or maybe less than toddlers, to get them to in a way that they will understand what's going on, why it's going on, but you're not going to make them butthurt, because in today's day and age, everything gets everybody all butthurt.
That's right.
Everything offends somebody. It doesn't matter what it is.
I'm writing down some notes for potential show ideas. I think this is going to help. Zarina touched on something that I've believed in a long time that we have not talked about in depth. She talks about homes become entities.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see here. Holly says, "Hi, brother. What's going on?" Holly, definitely give us your input. I know you're just tuning in, but we're talking about what parapsychologists call RSPK, and what psychonauts and psychics call energy manifesting into tulpa-like entities, or psychokinetic energy manifesting in the home from living agents causing physical harm, disturbing phenomena that could be confused as a haunting, or like some type of negative haunt or poltergeist activity that people might confuse as maybe demonic or something along that line. Let us know what your thoughts are as you if you stick around. Serena says, "Christy, I bound them from harm to others and to themselves." Voquire says, "Crusty." I used to call her that all the time.
She spell check.
I think it depends on the situation of that person. Like, maybe you can cut off the toxic connection or help them without them knowing why. That's the tact I was suggesting, because she would not see it that way. It presents to as an angel to her. She was in a lot of confusion. Chris says, "That's my problem. I would not sugarcoat it." So I decided to handle it and move. They've been really experienced at corner walls and portals.
Darren brought up the Hinsdale. He said it is like the Hinsdale. It is the entity itself, in my personal opinion and experience. I think what Darren's saying is the haunting at the Hinsdale house. The house itself is the entity. It's not really like haunted by ghosts. The house itself is its own entity.
Right. Because when these places become well known, and people who own the place allow ghost hunters, investigators to come in, that's when it becomes structured as an entity in itself. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of the places that we go to, it's like we're investigating a location that it's an entity of itself, and it all deals with psychokinetic,
Monroe House is really similar to that structure of it turns into its own entity, and it changes, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, the most interesting. If you ask me what was the most interesting thing about the paranormal that you investigated for 10 years, how morphic it is. Mm-hmm. It can change in ways that you can't predict.
Right.
And a lot of these things, I kind of want to take a couple steps back before we move forward. When it comes to nightmares and things kind of manifesting from the mind, there are things from your subconscious, things that you repress, that you fear, that seep into the equation. That I want people to realize, if you haven't already realized. I feel like a lot of people that watch a show already realize this, but I want to bring this, to the surface of this conversation, because what we run from is what we need to pay attention to in a lot of these situations. And when we're talking to the homeowners and the people involved in this, trying to explain it to them, those are things we want to address too.
Exactly.
The manifesting causes a build or pickup of energy to become and evolve to worse entity energy and poltergeist. Hopefully we can help that stop. Morphing. Yeah. It's morphic. There's a lot of things. Zarina, I urge you to watch the show we did with Lloyd Auerbach a few weeks ago. There's definitely some takeaways that are going to be interesting for you when it comes to parapsychology that's going to align with the occult and esoteric. I promise. The smell is my big thing. The smell is very interesting because lately science has figured out that there is the sensory information that we get from molecules when we smell them, or quantum. There's quantum effects. And I feel like there's a lot of things, if you watch my shows, where the quantum world aligns with the paranormal world. Darren says, yes, from what I hear from all the investigators I meet, Monroe is sort of the same as Hensdale, different personal experiences for everyone. Mm-hmm. Right. We're all... I just want the mind to be probing the possibilities at all times. And I feel like if we're doing that, we won't... Our biases, that maybe initial biases, going into a situation may not take hold and precedence the whole time. I feel like if we're constantly questioning, and probing all the possibilities at all times, we'll be open for something that might pop out, and we can take a better look at it. Because I know I've been guilty of going into situations, with a little bit of a blinders on, and it's always good to be reminded to try to open up there.
Well, see, like Hill Forest, when you brought up maybe you caused or manifested the incident to happen upstairs. That's what was weird about that was, you, Christy, and Josh were all in there investigating with no knowledge of anything that, any of the spirits, any of the stuff that's ever been really reported, technically, or none of the folklore behind it. And, me and Missy had, but, even knowing a lot of the stories, a lot of the things that have been seen, and experiencing some things in there ourselves, that has never been experienced. That's never happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no documentation of anybody ever trying that before, which was what, like you said, it caught you off guard that you even did it. And it was kind of like, oh, damn, that was pretty smart at the time that you did that. So,
well,
that
I don't know yet.
Exactly. But, that's the type of stuff that, when it happens, you kind of step back and you're like, well, hell, that's nothing like that has ever happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've only had maybe that might have been the third direct reaction that we've had with something messing with a piece with, especially the mail meter and a REM pod that we've had at a location, and it started on a command and it stopped on a command.
That it's freaky every time to me. And let me explain why. A lot of this is kind of like belief based when you're going to you're like, oh, is that EVP? We believe that EVP means this, or this piece of weird anomalous activity means this or means that. Okay. We're kind of like filling in the blanks and inserting our own beliefs a lot of the time, which we're trying not to, but we can't help ourselves. And when things go off, we're constantly like, oh, we're finding explanations why there's false positives. But in these rare occasions, we're doing our very best to know if it's reacting to us and only us. And I feel like we need to realize when we're doing this, if we're actually maybe causing it through PK, how to stop from doing it. Because I feel like, yeah, it's interesting to investigate and experience that, but that's not what we're actually there doing. We're trying to see the spiritual come through instead of us, perturbing the energy in a certain way to, create things to happen. But I feel like it might have been RSPK through the actual haunting too, about what Lloyd was saying, that the haunting itself, the information from the haunting itself, is a player in what the phenomena is doing. So I felt like that was probably what was going on, because that place is just set up to anybody that's sensitive to immediately get information, like good information, things you would not know or you wouldn't need to know. Like Aurora to me is set up that way. It's not just Hill Forest. Aurora itself is like a time capsule designed to tickle the psychic sense. That's my take on it anyway. All right, back to the comments.
Yep.
I think we got some spam from Twitch.
We did. Yeah. We don't want that.
That's all right. As long as they don't keep spamming it, it's fine. Zarina says, Missy said, and me. I forget what she was actually responding to there. I've been dealing with an increase in Jinn energy. Have you investigated Jinn investigating on a property ran into it? We run into nature beings all the time, and people who are aligned with that tend to pick up on it a lot. And my family, on my mother's side, it's a constant thing that we're aware of all the time. This is always why I believe the families in these big name locations such as Conjuring House, Hinsdale, Amityville, they're always major bad experiences in those homes, but only with one family. The next family moves in and nothing happens, just happened to the one family. That is true, but there's cases where that's not true too. Okay, there's in some cases people cannot stay in the home, like Monroe House, for example. They never was able to keep people in the home. That came from the owner's mouth that did all the good historical research on it. But like Amityville, like you mentioned, that was a one family thing. And but the Conjuring House is a little bit on the fence. It could be a one family thing, or there may be evidence that it wasn't. What needs to happen is a blind experiment where they don't know what happened prior when they move in, and see if it still happens. That would be interesting. Do we got Josh Bender in the house? Do you think it reacts to you in another realm when communicating in physical evidence, such as pushing they crossed into ours, to physically manifesting the actions? Now, when it comes to spiritual things, I feel like that's a good question. One theory is that their world and our world become one in those instances. So it's like either a thinning of the veil or a coexisting at those points. Or it could be them on the other side creating their own psychokinetic energy that's perturbed enough to affect the physical systems in our realm. So it's almost like a psychotunneling or a psychokinetic tunneling effect, which will be in my model when I get it done sometime in my life. Casey Boatwright, what's up with yourself? Glad you're here, man. So yeah, Zarina, I don't know what's happening yet. Both of those things could be happening. I don't know. It definitely feels like two worlds collide a lot. It feels like that. It seems like that. But it also seemed like worlds can communicate through the foam or through the barriers that seem to be there. It seems like both possibilities are there. We got Shannon Morrison in the house. My entire family is having issues right now. My cousin's little boy just ripped his entire... Oh my God. I didn't read... I can't unread that.
I saw it before you did.
Okay. I'm going to do this, Shannon. I'm going to do it for you. Ripped his entire testicles playing basketball. She is just recovering from losing her sister and now major injury to her teenage son. Kendall's seizures are surging and other just crazy stuff. So, I just want to say that's horrible. And I'm sorry to hear that Kendall is having problems again. They're flaring up. Everyone, please direct your positive energy towards Shannon. I don't need to tell you that she needs it and her family needs it. You just read it. Okay? Point the needle towards Shannon Morrison's social media account. I'm sure she'd appreciate it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty wild right there.
See you, Zarina. Yeah, with Shannon, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, Missy had brought up earlier. She said I learned a lot more about myself since the last time we were in there, and I'm pretty sure she's talking about Hill Forest, which is kind of interesting because after finding out that one of her relatives is the board of directors, head of the board of directors for the mansion. He also claims to have abilities and can channel and do some of the stuff that she can. And, apparently that stuff's gone, it traces back through the family, and then finding out what she wants to do a little bit more digging. And I'm kind of, with her. She wants to find out where her family intersected with the Gaff family who owned the mansion, and how, where the relation comes in there, considering he told us that they were related.
Right. Have you guys considered like getting a genealogy resource?
Yeah, I used to have a membership to
Ancestry.
Ancestry, and I canceled it a couple years ago, so I may have to fire it back up, because I dug around on my side of the family for a long time.
I also have weird things going on. Fire. I started a small leaf fire that burnt for days despite rain nearly constantly. I'm rebuilding my kitchen from the fire this summer. So yeah, I did read Missy's comment about Hill Forest, like teaching her things about herself she didn't know. I kind of wanted to hear her elaborate on that. Maybe she can come on after the break, midway through here in about 15 minutes. If she wants to. She doesn't have to. She can just type it out if she wants. But I feel like if you're doing that a little by little every time you flex those paranormal muscles when you do, that's great. I feel like I've done something valuable when I'm able to. That's the plan, man. That's the plan.
I try different ways each time we go places to connect, and to kind of feel the energy and see, especially before filming or something, to see if I can tap in or connect with anything or feel anything or experience anything before I strap up with 70,000 gizmos and gadgets.
It never ends.
I know.
I'm still refraining from buying that 360 zoom capsule for the Zoom Q8. It's sitting there. I'm like, I would love to have that, but do I need it? Probably not.
I keep looking for another wireless follow focus, since my nano focus is busted and doesn't work no more for no reason, and I just can't pull the trigger to buy a new one, even though I need it, because I'm like, it costs too damn much.
But it's a couple $100, ain't it?
The new one I think is $3 something. It's like,
that's rough.
Yeah, because I looked up information on the one that I have, and apparently it's an issue that they have. They just stop working.
Missy trying to get me to stop buying microphones. I wish you luck on your endeavor to stop me from buying microphones. If you can do that, you will impress me. You know I like my microphones. She's just like, I'm tired of carrying them. Tired of carrying your microphone. I know you are, and me too. My back.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what. Off subject, Braylon took the massage gun to my back that I've been having problems with, and it helped. So I might sneak into his room and like give him the massage gun again.
Oh heck yeah!
And bribe him to be like, dude, right there.
Right.
Listen, if you don't have one of these, they're worth their weight in gold. But make sure you do your research and reviews and get a good one, because there's junk out there.
There definitely is.
All right. Yeah, everybody, thank you very much for your comments and your and chatting. It drives this show. If it was just me and Derek or Missy sitting there talking to ourselves, I probably couldn't do it. Probably couldn't do it. So thank you very much. I appreciate all the support and everybody engaging with us on these shows. Thank you very much. Missy has a hot tub. What did Christy chime in here? I'm not Christy, but I'll try. What did Christy say? I missed it. I have a hot tub. Do you see Christy's comment? I don't.
No, I think. Well, yeah, I think she thought you said Christy.
Oh. I'm not Christy, but I'll try. Okay. I misread that. Then Missy Darren says, then Missy Vastine forgets she's carrying the microphone and gets yelled at to quit walking away with it. Why does Darren remember everything?
Because we constantly remind him about his paranormal brawl and that he looks like Hulk Hogan. So he remembers everything.
I remember being at the jail and yelling at her for that, and Darren hasn't forgot it. Darren probably's like, I like Justin, but 99% of the shit he does is just whacked.
He's just waiting for the next meltdown.
Shannon, that comment, dude.
I know, she keeps bringing that up, and it's really, it's bothersome to my testicles.
Are they aching? Oh my God. I'm sorry. We're trying. All right. Just breathe, concentrate. Breathe and concentrate. All right. So no apologies needed, Shannon. You can tune in whenever you want, however often you want. It does not matter to me. You do not have to apologize for that. I just feel like when I go out to investigate, to explore, to experience, it's not just the ghosties. It's also my energy and the people with me and the energy that others that have been there that's left behind. As the seasoning in the soup, the paranormal soup. And the flavor of the soup is not just the ghosties, is what I'm trying to say. There's lots of herbalisms happening.
Yep.
Because it happens every time I'm with you guys. She's done. What you're seeing is how we operate, and what happens pretty much every time is me obsessing over the technical parts of it. Yeah, that's what happened. I'm the angry director yelling at people. You need to go back to the jail. It's been a while. What was it last December we went?
Yeah. With Anthony.
He wants us to go back, but I don't know if we're able to.
I know. I don't have no more vacation.
Me neither.
And they might get a little pissed if I take off, because I just off for 8 weeks.
Yeah. You need to. Probably shouldn't do that. But I'm hoping that the things me and Darren have discussed about the jail come to fruition, because that would be cool. It's always good. It's always fun. All right. So, do you feel like there's any other side quest concerning this topic? I feel like we're almost at the halfway point, and we might be shifting gears into something else, or we could be riffing on it some more. I mean, is anything float into the consciousness that we have not addressed, or is there any other experiences that we can pull from to add to the conversation? I feel like I didn't bring up the doppelganger of Derek Schreiner. That I feel like you didn't bring that one up. I feel you didn't forget about it, but it was something that I feel like come from you, and was probably psychokinetic in nature, and the stuff that was happening between you that looked like it was the previous tenant or owner of the homes that was doing things like what's her name, Millie, and her old man,
Clayton Bachelor.
Yeah, I feel like I was talking to Missy that was probably RSPK and her doing her thing. I really feel like you guys should have good information when it comes to trying to understand those things and trying to maybe do some things to calm that down. Has it been calmer since then?
Yeah. It kind of perks up every now and then, but it's not very often that I notice. I mean, we notice different things now, not so much like we had before, where we had the voices. I mean, we were hearing, she was hearing my name called, her name called. Casey was hearing his name called. We were seeing shadow people all the time. She would go in the bathroom and people would be standing in there. She'd go in the kitchen, somebody'd be standing in there. We would hear people moving around up here all the time, and it was super strange. And then we had what was described more than once, and you could really feel it as almost like it wasn't really a portal, but more like a swirling energy that went through the whole house, right at the base of the stairs, almost in the center of the kitchen. And it took forever to kind of calm all that down. We had crystals everywhere that I bought because I was a crystal aficionado for a while. So we got rid of all of those, sold every one of them, and then once we removed those, just kind of changing our mindset. I tried to not be angry all the time, which I was angry all the time. It got to the point that we were fighting all the time. We were ready to kill each other. And it just, it completely changed. Pulling the crystals down changed a lot. Using the singing bowl to kind of change the energy and the vibration of the house. And then going through, just kind of some different things with each other, talking about stuff more. Instead of just sitting there stewing over things all the time. It made a big difference.
That's awesome. Quickly, I want to get to Shannon. When you're asking for a synopsis, do you want a synopsis of the topic of the show? Let me know if that's correct. And the other question, Darren, I did see your comment there. I'll get with him to see what's going to happen ultimately with that. Shannon asks, how do you help a child that may not understand that they are creating this energy? I feel like the person who is giving her the information probably shouldn't be the person who's constantly reprimanding her and telling, the mother or the father figure. And it could be someone who is good at speaking energetically and doing energy healing, which is something that I was wanting to offer you if I was ever had the opportunity to go down there to work with her, which is something we discussed. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. But I don't know if there's something that I could suggest to help you until then. Let me think about it. Just hang on for a little while. Let me think about it. I could come up with some suggestions and things to try. Hopefully. Addict is a better word. Crystal addict. I'm telling you what.
What did he say?
Crystal addict. Yes.
Yeah.
I needed an intervention.
The crystals was just like a magnifying glass the size of God. There is a swirly in the house, which is something I told you guys the first time I went there. It was so bad that it was like, oh, there's a swirly.
Yep. It was rough.
Hang on to your horses, guys. We are going to watch the Deadlight promo. I know if you guys watch this show every time, you might get sick of watching it, but I'm helping out my buddy. So everybody who's watching this in post or maybe watching for the first time, they might get introduced to Deadlight. Don't go anywhere. We got more paranormal discussions happening after the quick break. Thank you for watching. Don't go anywhere. We have been peering into shadow for 5 long years, struggling to see what lurks in the night. Working from the ground up and collaborating with hundreds of paranormal investigators, we have been able to develop a product that not only became the best night vision illuminator on the market, but became the last light that our customers would purchase for the rest of their lives.
What Deadlight has done for me as an investigator has really kind of changed the gamut of how we investigate, because before Deadlight, you used to get the little wonky lights you buy off of, offline and stuff like that, which sometimes didn't always work. They were really glitchy. You guys sent me some Deadlights. I used them for Paranormal Warehouse. We did some filming for Epic Haunts, and I'm blown away.
I think the quality of the merchandise that you get from Deadlight LLC, I think is top notch. The fact that it's handmade, by Josh, and the quality of it, and the craftsmanship that he puts into it, the time and effort that he puts into it, speaks volumes when the merchandise is received. The fact that he honors all of his work, pretty much lifetime guarantee to fix it if something goes wrong, I think stands out too. The quality of the product and the customer service is top notch.
Whether you are a seasoned investigator or a beginner, Deadlight has a lighting solution tailored to your needs and your equipment. Deadlight is made for all who are not afraid to see what lurks in the night. And we're back. Had to unmute. Derek transmuted into Missy. Yeah. Welcome. So, I want to help me out. You've been reading Shannon's comments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can help me out here. Jump in if you want a quick recap on Kendall. She's got a medical history that involves seizures, and she can help me with the technical terms of stuff that she has going on. But basically, she has abilities which are, from the sound of them, largely psychokinetic in nature. She is affecting the physical stuff in her, in the home and in her life. It looks like there are times that things can go bonkers, but there's other issues that don't involve Kindle, but Kindle's involved, so it makes the whole mixture even weirder. So she would love for Kindle to have more insight and knowledge about her role and her impact on the situation. Okay. And it's a tough one, and I feel like as a mother and someone who has probably dealt with these things, what would you tell your child? How old is Kendall again? Is she preteen, or is she old enough that she's like 13 yet? I can't remember how old she is. But she's in that neighborhood. What would you suggest?
Stay calm.
Yeah, like she wants Kendall to know that a lot of this stuff is coming from her ability.
Right.
What would you tell your teenage daughter if they're having a hard time realizing that? Because it's hard to tell. It was kind of hard process and a long process to kind of educate and open you and Derek up to it. So what say you? 12, preteen, okay.
Yeah. Well, she's got a lot of hormones going on right now too. So there's that. She was my sounds like it. She just needs to focus on herself.
How would you bring up the whole, hey, you're paranormally gifted, and convincing her that her mood, her subconscious, her conscious can make things happen. She may believe that exterior outside forces are at play when it's interior external forces at play is what she is probably dealing with. What would you tell her to help guide her into her own abilities and becoming aware of what's going on internally?
Like if she has a good day, you know what I mean? Like if she's calm and, nothing traumatic has happened that day. And then the next day she's, full of anger and aggravation and, she's making things happen. She needs to focus on what she did on what happened the day she was calm and what happened on the day that she wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, she needs to tell her, okay, well, this happens when you're calm, and this happens when you're full of, aggravation and your own rage, because at that point, at that age, you have your own rage.
Yeah, and to add to that, having a discussion about this with someone with the verbiage, which could be, people like us or others, it doesn't have to be me, to give her the words, and then, but that's only part of it. The most important part is for her to have that support spiritually and energetically.
It is, honey. Being in middle school is tough. I remember. I completely remember.
And Shannon, if you can find a way to salve the times when things flare up, things get awful, things get bad days, need patience, understanding, and some type of energetic salving and healing. Okay? Something that probably not in the kitchen drawer. Something new. Okay? Well, we can go into more of a detail and privately if you want, but for right now, you need to find a way to understand what you're capable of and how you're going to be able to connect with Kendall on that level to communicate not in words, but with energy.
Where do they live right now?
In the vicinity of Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay. So it's no hard. Take her to the woods. As weird as that sounds, I bought a bass guitar and paint. Try so hard to channel her in an engaging outlet. All girls go through times they hate their moms. Yes.
That's why I was kind of suggesting someone that was not you to help.
Right.
A support group with this ordeal would help out. So that's why I suggest that would probably then be most helpful. But until then, ease her into it, more conversations about it. It's going to be a long process, but there's no easy answer and easy fix to this, unfortunately.
No. Take her to the woods.
You know
Body
how
of water.
you know how hard it is to get Missy to understand and accept her stuff?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I ain't doing nothing. I can't do anything. And I ain't me. I'm stupid. I can't do anything. You just say that. And it's not true. You know, so that's what she kind of acts like. I'm like, stop it. You know when your kids just don't listen? Missy's like my other 17-year-old daughter.
We're the same size.
Basically. It's they have the same complexes. It's like, you know, it's whatever. But buying her the bass guitar is a great idea. Give her things to do, give her things to apply. You know, wonderful idea.
Buy her a coloring book and a box of crayons.
Missy, that's what Missy wants. Is why she's saying that.
Yep, pretty much.
Buy her a microphone that costs $500.
And send it to Justin. It's fine.
Yeah, oops, wrong address. My bad. No, don't do that. It's hard. It's really hard.
Oh my god. See? He woke fire. He said, oh my god, I love coloring. She said, we live in the woods and it's getting crazy. We now have a Fisher cat that has us all terrified, and I faced down a bear. My giant dogs won't leave the porch. Jeez.
So they're in the woods, Missy. Now what?
I don't know. The water. The
You
water
need-
helps every time.
You need shamanic assistance.
Mm-hmm.
You need help. That's what you need. There's just no other way to say it. Yep.
Something beyond what I can offer you. Something beyond what I can offer. Apparently. Lord, my hair is crazy.
The Fisher cat. Vicious. Cats are no joke, man.
Right? When you put cats and chickens together, it's even worse.
Dude,
Chasing you around.
the Spectrum guy was out at my house a couple days ago, and there's chickens and cats just mingling in the yard, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, those cats don't mess with those chickens? I'm like, no, dude. Those cats think those chickens are other cats.
Right.
They have no idea. These cats are the only feral cats on a farm that don't know what chickens are. They just think they're cats.
They're all together in their own happy little world.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Mm-hmm.
They're all together in their little paradise. We just...
That is your front yard. They just
Yeah,
poop
every time we
everywhere.
come home, we have like a dozen cats that storm us begging for food.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how much you feed them. They do it. They don't stop. It's really annoying. I'm about to relocate some felines. I don't know what I'm going to do. There's so many of them things.
I'll just throw them in the back of the truck the next time I leave. Like a giant weasel or marten, and just as mean as a badger. It avoids all my traps, but I think I would get in trouble killing it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what the laws are on that. So yeah, I don't know. I was talking to Derek about how things have been spiritually and energetic wise at your place lately.
Mm-hmm.
You the things that I hear you reporting here recently are just presences in rooms.
Yeah. Like, he's still in the kitchen. Every once in a while, I'll walk by the staircase, and there's... Like, the other day I walked by, and there was a set of feet on the stairs that weren't Casey's. Because I knew where Casey was. He was in the bathroom.
So up near the ceiling where you could only see their feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, Joseph. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Joseph. You have a good night.
Or I'll walk by every now and again, and I'll see this little redheaded boy standing in the corner at the bottom of the stairs.
A redheaded boy. Is that new?
No.
I didn't think so. You've told me about him before.
Yep.
I wonder who the hell that is.
I don't know. There's a ladybug flying around in here. Do you know what energy is contacting you?
Contacting Missy? Can you elaborate? Since we're talking about your situation, I'm going to assume it's you.
Yep.
Yeah. So Missy knows a little bit about, she knows, we're pretty sure about the guy in the kitchen. That's Clayton, right?
Yep. The redheaded boy. Ugh. I don't know anything about him. I've heard someone yelling Charlie, but I couldn't be, certain that that's who that is. But when you hear whoever it is yelling Charlie,
Man or
you
woman?
hear woman.
Like,
Then you hear like the pitter patter of little feet run across the floor up here.
like a mother yelling at her child
Yeah.
because he done something, or
Like
calling
she
him
wanted
angrily.
him to come to her. Like she was calling him to come to her. She wasn't, it wasn't mean. Or Kendall calls them strawberry-haired boys and loves redheads and will stare uncomfortably.
Wow. That's hilarious. I mean, I feel like can you see the redheaded boy fully, like clothes and everything?
Mhm.
What period is he dressed?
He's wearing like,
That's not true, Shannon.
I thought redheads have no souls. That's not true. Some of them do.
That's from like a psychoanalysis history. You know, it's not true. It's just because they're not easily manipulated by psychiatrists. But the dress of the kid.
He is wearing like brown. They look dirty brown, ripped. They wore pants at one time. You can tell because there's like fringe hanging off of them. They're like below his knee, and he's wearing a white ruffled shirt.
So that kind of sounds like that's old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you a quick what I saw. There was a red-headed woman. A long time ago there were people who lived by the river.
Mm-hmm.
This was before the houses were there, but there was a railroad there.
Mm-hmm.
And there were immigrants in the area still after the railroad was built.
Okay.
And I feel like that those two were related to some family members that immigrated over here from Ireland or Scotland, somewhere over there.
Mm-hmm.
That settled in that area, that lived in that area, but there was the time that they lived there, it looks nothing like Conwell Street looks now.
Right.
And I feel like their energy still frequents there, and they're probably attracted to your home because they realize someone is seeing them, and the little boy notices that you notice him.
Right.
And he kind of strayed off from his mother because he's interested in you.
Right.
And she keeps calling him back, which is
He never says
interesting.
anything.
Right.
He's just there. So I just let him be there.
I feel like what's he, about 6?
Yeah, maybe.
We're playing to
6 or 8.
It was a joke I picked up after it was all over South Park. Unique though. Yeah. Yeah. The genes of the redheads are very interesting. I feel like it was a race of people that might have had some very interesting genetics. I've heard that there was some Nephilim and giants with red hair that used to populate the whole earth at one point. Very, very interesting. So you got the little red-headed boy. You got Clayton in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else? You haven't seen Millie doing weird shit lately, have you?
No. The bedroom is actually quiet. Pretty calm in there, I would say.
That's good.
I did open I took care of that though. I opened the closet in the bathroom. And Melvin, our friend who's running for mayor, his mom was standing in the closet. It was the day she died.
She died recently?
She died about a year ago now.
Oh.
And he put it on Facebook later that day that she had passed at such and such time. And about that time, I opened the closet to put away the towels, and she was standing there.
Have you ever thought about having Melvin over?
He's been in the house.
When's the last time?
Maybe 6, 7 months ago.
And he just kind of did a quick tour, or?
Yeah. He said this right here, where the computer is, used to be a closet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's wallpaper in the closet up here. What's the closet now? And he said that was the wallpaper on my grandpa's walls.
Interesting.
Okay. And Casey's room and the bonus room used to be one big room. It wasn't two separate rooms.
My entire family is full of redheads. I work hard to get the red out of my hair. He's curious and observing you from his own perspective. Time maybe, but same space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they lived near the river. I feel like they camped out there. I feel like they lived in like either a shanty or less than that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's barefoot.
He is. Because I
He's a
can hear his
fucking
little
hobbit.
bare feet run up the stairs.
Yeah. We don't have much at the house. The kids are timid about the paranormal presences around here. Mm-hmm. I know Awen had a, you know how some shadow figures are vampiric when it comes to depression and, you know, people feeding off negative emotion and sadness and all that. I told Awen about an entity that I saw in her room that I quickly chased off, or just my presence and me knowing that it was there, it kind of like skedaddled. But when I told them about that, especially Braylon, he's like, oh no, I knew it. I knew it. But he constantly feels something in that little area outside of him and Awen's room where the bathroom is, and in the kitchen area, and even all the way to the, you know, the laundry room going out to the garage. And I try to keep it clean, man, because, you know, the kitties. I felt bad. I have a complex. I felt bad because early on I was like, oh, demons, angels, spirits, come to the house. I need to talk to you now.
Yeah. And now you're like, stay away.
Yeah, I'm just like, psych, I'm just joking. I didn't mean that. My bad. It is what it is. It was very interesting around the house for a while. But we're good. I can't say the same about the other houses in the property. Can't say the same. There has been some reports. I don't want to give out any information and call out anybody, but yeah, being woke up at 4 a.m. every morning by banging on the house and walls. That's totally not my fault. Totally not me. Dude, it was really weird. It's crazy. Yeah, you know, depending on where you're at, too. I mean, if you're near like a hot spot of shenanigans, it's definitely going to make it easier. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump over to your house. You know, there's some places that are just like very far, far away from anything like that, which would make it much harder to, you know, attract much attention. You know, this is like, you know, the busiest. This property is like the busiest subway in the largest city.
Yep.
Kendall is the one who tells me about the things around me more when she was younger and more innocent. Right, because there was no filter. There was like, no reason for her to dismiss, judge, or deny, or have any, second
She
thinking
didn't
about
second
them.
guess herself.
Yeah.
And yep, a well-traveled highway here. LOL, Christy said.
This is where all the cats hang out, unfortunately. Where all the cats live. So, does she remember anything that she used to see or experience or do? That might be a useful thing to bring up when talking to her about it. Christy is cracking up about something.
Clayton.
Oh, is that what... Christy, that's the neighbor being railed by bearded you-know-who against your house. Yeah, all you got to do is yell, quiet, just quiet it down over there. Contain your hormones. When you're... I'm just going to be good. I'm not going to say anything. Derek is doing just fine, doing all that stuff. I'm just going to leave it to him because I'm the one that has to live here. And we all know this show is open to the public. Anybody could be watching and listening.
I'll send him down. I mean,
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
You don't want me to send him down?
No, because he can leave and I have to stay here and deal with the aftermath of it.
That's true.
So,
No, I mean, I could send him down and just push him outside and lock all the doors, and she could.
she was dying, dude. She cracked the fuck up in the living room. Like, what the hell is she cracking up at? And then I was like, oh, I need to re-chat. That's funny. I don't want to imagine it, dude. Yeah, she still
Way
does
off
it,
the
but
rails.
doesn't like to tell me about it because I try to explain stuff and put it into context, things she knows more about and understands at a different level. Does she like resist it when you tell her, or she deny, or is it like she kind of like shuts you off? She doesn't want to talk to you about it for any type of reason? I'm curious because talking is better than doing nothing. And the more you're able to gain your child's trust in the subject matter, and the more they respect you, listen, and learn from you is key. When it got to the point where I was able to do that with my mother, it was highly beneficial at that point. Even though I did listen intently the whole time, which was part of my problem because a lot of that shit freaked me out. But when it come to the point where I was ready, it was good.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. She said she tells me she knows more than I don't understand it, as well as she does, because we have different experiences and observations. Which is true.
So it sounds like you're butting heads over the whole subject matter. Like you both realize there's, things, you're feeling things are going on. Am I right about that, Shannon? Are you trying to have her see it your way, but she's not? She's wanting to see it her way? Because, I know she mentioned that a couple years back she believed that there was something externally causing her issue. Mm-hmm. She believed it was evil. Which she may have been right about.
So my advice would be for Shannon to keep a notebook and write her experiences down in a notebook and what she took from it, what she learned from it, and record hers, Kendall's, when she comes to her telling her, well, I experienced this, and then she can go back on a dated, timed page and say, so did I, huh? Write your experiences down, make them known in some form without telling her, and then let her look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, they were similar.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So building trust and earning respect in this area is something I want you to think about, Shannon. Have you opened up about your past and your experiences? How is your mom doing, Justin Brown? Haven't really heard you mention her lately. Love to see her again sometime and do another investigation with her again. So interesting and fun with her. She's doing well as far as I know. She stays distant. She's doing her thing. I don't see her doing any other investigations anytime soon.
She's a hermit with bad legs.
Yeah, her getting around is tough. Her dealing with the outside world is tough. And when she feels like it, she will do it. I'm sorry I don't have any other information.
Sometimes going to the dollar store is really hard for her.
And it's rough on her because it's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really depressing.
Yep.
Puts anybody in that situation down in the dumps, and it sucks. We got Braylon Brown up in the house.
Braylon, what are you doing?
What are you doing typing the letter E in my chat, Bray? Is that all you got? We got my youngest son in the chat. What's up, Braylon Brown? So yeah, Shannon, sounds like the task at hand is getting on her level and maybe her getting on your level. It's going to be tough because I know Christy and Eowyn, they butt heads a lot. But they find ways to be more cordial. So I find it within your capability to navigate the situation. You just have to find the right angle, the right approach. Maybe a head-on, straightforward approach is not working. I feel like maybe you can take a step back and think about it. And if not, I can just keep offering suggestions. Kendall hates going in public for everyday stuff. Too, I have to explain the family history to some extent, so many things she shouldn't have had to experience, and I had to explain why certain people in the family are the way they are. Yeah, that's tough. The issue that I see with young people and people that don't have a spiritual structure, in order to navigate through these things and in order to deal with them, it is important to have a structure. And the structure doesn't have to be something that you have to step up on your soapbox and preach about, like a religion or a belief system. But if there's a structure in place, you're able to find less stress and more ways to compare what you're experiencing and dealing with to, against that structure. At least you're able to make some type of temporary sense. What's an example? So the fact that I may be different, I feel different, I appear different, things happen to me differently than others. You know, I relate to this scenario a lot. So, why is that? Well, I might have gifts, I might have abilities, they may be a blessing, they may be a curse, I don't know, but they're there. We got to deal with them now. What happens? Well, we get overwhelmed, we know things that we shouldn't know, and things seem to happen with weird synchronicities and strange coincidence. Things might get really, really bad. Things might be spooky, but positive. What belief system could I put in place to not only potentially explain these things, but give a structure to allow us to learn and grow? And you can do that together. It doesn't have to be an alone thing. We bond over Y files. I love that channel. I love it. It's such a great channel. So we have that. Always interesting conversations. What's up, Braylon Brown? He must be subscribed, or he wouldn't have known this live stream was occurring. So, Bray, tell the chat what things spook you out in the house. What things that you pick up on. Let us know, because I've been speaking for you. I tell you guys everything. Everything. I don't hide anything, Darren. Everything. Yeah, I love the Y-Files. Have you ever watched that YouTube channel, Missy?
No.
Oh. I don't know if you'd get into it. You have to be a little nerdy.
I've been with Derek Schreiner for 8 weeks. I've been watching football.
Your face tells a story.
Right?
What would you be watching?
Virgin River or...
Virgin River. He's like high offspring of Justin. He's probably like, oh my God, more people like Justin. More people like my dad. Oh no, what have I done?
He just got on to see me.
That's it. He just got back from Camp Joy for 3 days.
Heard.
This is his first time away from his mommy and daddy for that long of time. He did good though. He said he was homesick though. He was glad to come home and take a shit in peace. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
We all know what that's like.
Some guy just shot 15 people in Maine.
Oh God. What? Oops. Wrong button.
Sometimes at night I hear dishes moving and I feel like I'm being watched at night. Braylon said. I think learning together will be key. She's now allowed on the internet and others talk with more authority. I think she hates that I say, I just don't know much about it and can't speak with any authority on the subject, and very few can.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to help, but I just don't know when. I'm trying to bring this up.
So, Braylon, you're not alone, honey. I've been laying in the dang on living room and heard dishes moving in the other room. Didn't see anybody in there.
Armed and dangerous.
There are now some 40 million
changes revoking or
That's
limiting
not
gun
that's
rights.
not right.
As of
This is not right. Let's just do this one.
Confirmed they are investigating an active shooter situation in multiple locations. Police say a number of people have been shot and hurt in 3 separate locations in Lewiston, Maine. Schools in the area were quickly put on lockdown. People in nearby Auburn have been told to shelter in place and lock all doors. Police have released a picture of the suspect. We'll show it to you here. He appears to be holding a long gun, and according to experts we've been speaking to, there's a scope attached to it. This is all we know at the moment. We know that the governor of Maine has been informed and will be making, I'm sure, a statement shortly, but we will bring you more information as we get it. NBC News national security contributor Frank Filiuzzi joins us now over the phone, and I really appreciate your time, Frank, jumping in with us. Give us your assessment of the situation right now. Of course, we do not know how many people have been injured, but the photograph we are looking at on the screen here shows a man very heavily armed and obviously capable of doing terrible damage. What is your assessment of what you've heard so far?
Yeah, good evening. I'm sorry we have to join like this, as we often do, but I see in the imagery here a long gun being this individual and containing and neutralizing him, and that's what this is all about right now. So it's all hands on deck, but for those in the Lewiston area, this is about complying with police instructions to absolutely take this seriously, stay inside. If the image means anything to you, the photo that's going around now in the news, please, by all means, contact the police, call 911, and say that you seem to know this person. That would be extremely helpful. But right now, it's about public safety.
Wow. Jesus. I can't believe that. Well, I guess I can. It happens all the time, more than we'd like to admit. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate. I seen your comment, Darren. That's hilarious. It's like, no, that's not a ghost. Your dad's just eating food in the middle of the night. It's probably true. Our governor signed an open carry campus bill, and that picture is a common occurrence here. So, we live in different times. You could be just doing your daily grocery shopping and then get shot in the face. Mind your own business. You could have your kids there. You have to be very vigilant with this shit. Really? Hospital. We need people just need to be armed. When all the time. People just need to realize that they're living in a war zone. I don't know. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Wow. That's really sad. 15 people shot. And they haven't even apprehended him yet.
Crazy.
I tell you what. If someone did that anywhere in my vicinity, I hope they get away fast, because I don't have anything good to offer them but just reciprocated violence back to him. I mean, that's the only real way you can respond.
Only going to get worse. Too many fools around.
People are losing touch with their humanity.
Yep.
They are suffering from severe how should we say this? The inability to cope with their situation, that they have to bring it to innocent people. They feel like they're victims, and the only way they can win back anything is to terrorize innocent people. But I honestly believe, looking at the picture of this guy, that let me see if I can bring it back. History. Yeah, active shooter. was looking at the picture of this guy. He almost looks like that. What's his face? I can't think of but that there's an actor that looks like this guy. I forget his name. But I wish they had a little bit better resolution. This guy's got a scope. Like, what purpose is that scope? Like, he's shooting people at close range with it. I guess it's just coming on the gun that he chooses to do this with, but if you're shooting close range, that would definitely impede your ability to shoot people at close range. Maybe he was thinking about, what time of day did this occur?
I think it just happened.
Just happened? So it's at night. And this is a bowling alley that he was photographed in. So it must have been a mall where there was a bowling alley. Let's see if we can get more news. Active shooter in Lewiston, Maine. This whole thing hijacked this whole show. Mm-hmm. Bin Laden, most just want to make the news, be noticed and famous for what they're done. Bin Laden predicted we would go this route and took measures to promote fear in America. Our fear causes changes on the genetic level. Terrorists have no way to match state-sponsored violence, so they strike back by creating waves of fear. The cycle then continues. That's an interesting take on it. I can't relate to that at all. That notion, what Shannon just put out there, is alien to me. I mean, yeah, the state is violent, but it's a feedback loop. I mean, this whole situation is for the unintelligent, fear-mongering, weak pieces of shit. It's this regurgitated feedback loop shit. I feel like if you can't see it, you're just part of it. You're part of the mechanism that is messing you up. I don't know. Let's think happy thoughts. Missy. We got 8 minutes left.
Did you want to talk to me about anything in Hill Forest?
I know that you mentioned
You were going to ask me something.
Well, you mentioned something that you had learned something about yourself. Is that what you were talking about?
No. Well, we were there when we first started in the group. We had investigated there. We did the public. Mm-hmm. And I had learned so much about myself from then until I walked back in the door to investigate again.
Oh, that's what you meant.
I had changed so much as as who I was.
So did I. I changed a lot in that time period. I feel like everybody did.
Right. But it was the same location, a different person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For lack of a better word.
Sure. Yeah, I had asked you if it was like weird or if there was anything new or interesting, or was it the same old, Hill Forest that you known before? But yeah, I mean, I really don't know if there was any question I had about it. Did you just bring it up because that we were mentioning?
You said before? Think happy thoughts, so I was changing the subject.
Oh, every time I think about Hill Forest, I don't think of happy things because I look at a guy wanting to end his life because he's suffering the most you could suffer. Like, that's when you say Hill Forest, that's immediately what I think of. Which is not good. I shouldn't do that because it's not. That shouldn't be the motif of that place, but it kind of is for me.
Yeah.
Yep, and as we experience heightened fear and trauma, we pass down unhealthy coping mechanisms, and real genetic changes that impact learning and can even shorten the lives of their offspring. Shannon, you're just full of rainbows and unicorns and fairies. Like... oh, shit.
I met Ted Karras Monday.
I know, I saw the photo. Was that cool?
It was the coolest thing ever.
Did you get a Cincy hat?
Yep. Well, I did. I bought one, but I gave it to my mom because it was breast cancer awareness hat. She loved it. She wanted a new hat with something else on it, so I bought her a hat.
Nice.
He hugged me beforehand and everything, and I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is where I die.
Christy just says Spectrum is here. Are you kidding me? They're outside in our yard?
You better look out that daggone window.
It's 10 o'clock at night. I don't want to look out the window, dude. I can't imagine how we foster hope and optimism in our children. We will have to be very patient with them.
Yep, they're outside.
What are they doing outside, Christy? Why is fucking Spectrum in my yard at 10 p.m., dude?
Oh no.
Do they let these people have lives?
Barely
Do they have off shifts? What are they doing?
I don't know.
I've never seen anybody from that company working on anything that late.
Christy said, well, I'm in my night clothes. I ain't going out there.
Did you look out the window? Can you see? Screw it.
He's going to look out the window. It's right there.
Oh my god. They are for sure parked out there next to the pool.
You better end this stream.
They better not be digging a trench for that line they ran from the pool to the back of our house, because I'm going to go out there like a crazed maniac.
I believe it.
Do you think so, Shannon? My childhood was really rough. I don't know. But we're going to wrap it up because I need to go find out what Spectrum's doing. And it's 10 o'clock. Thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Oops, wrong button. Social media. You know the drill. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Now known as X. That's weird. So yeah, we're on the things. And our Patreon supporters, please extend your thanks. I know I thank you for being a Patreon supporter. Thank you very much. If it wasn't for you guys, we definitely wouldn't be doing this. But until next time, I got a couple ideas what we could talk about. I'm going to try to have Missy and Derek help me find a guest here soon to change it up. But yeah, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. We'll see you then. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.